Not in the slightest. Not when you put it like that. Ah.
The makeup comes off, but your face is sort of red, and the corset comes off, so it's just like a big jumper.
Well, the easy answer is yeah, I did take them home every night because they were real deal.
Utter badass, like all of this garb, and then we're just sort of like waiting, like with a pastry, going like.
So let's talk about Bridgerton. Phoebe, I'll start with you first. Some characters don't get any action in this series at all. Other characters all the time. I was chatting to Johnny Bailey before, who plays Anthony, and he said that you did have an intimacy coordinator on set.
Yeah.
Were those moments meticulously choreographed, or were you given the freedom to work out what worked for you yourselves?
I think, yeah, well, I think what's brilliant about having an intimacy coordinator is me and Regé both really had a massive say in how we played it. We both talked it through. We talked it through with each other and talked it through separately with the intimacy coordinator. So everyone's aware of what everyone's comfortable with, and aware of how we want to tell the story, particularly their sexual evolution. You know, Daphne starts her sexual journey not having a clue what she's doing, and then by the end she's totally aware and empowered, and empowered sexually. So yeah, we wanted to tell that story really, and it was really helpful being able to have someone there that could block it through with us and that we could talk it out with. And then, you know, by the time we got to set, it almost gave us more freedom because we knew exactly what we were doing and what we wanted to achieve.
What was it like behind the scenes when the cameras stopped rolling and you guys were just hanging out in your ball gowns as you do? Nicola, I'll start with you.
It was much less glamorous behind the scenes than it was on camera. Claudia and I always talk about that sort of moment at the end of the day where it's sort of like in The Witches with Roald Dahl, where the wig comes off and you've just got sort of glue all over your own hair, and the makeup comes off, but your face is sort of red, and the corset comes off, so it's just like a big jumper. But it's a lovely contrast to how done up you are in those kind of scenes. It's spectacular. It's like being a little girl playing dress up, getting to wear costumes like that and wigs like that. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I was so jealous. Was it the same for you, Claudia?
Yeah, I mean, we were very, very, we loved each other a lot. We loved each other a lot on set. So it was very easy for us all to be together. And because we all look so ridiculous, it is like something out of Extras. Do you know what I mean? When you've got like Golda looking like a complete and utter badass and like all of this garb. And then we're just sort of like waiting, like with a pastry, going like, waiting for something to happen. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then there's corgis and stuff like that, or like these extravagant garden parties and stuff. It is quite bizarre. You do get used to it as well, which feels like it's a lack of gratitude, but you do just so get used to being in this like magical environment.
Yes.
In your role as Anthony, you're involved in quite a few sex scenes, and there's a lot of clothing getting ripped off and things getting thrown around the room and people getting picked up. Was that fun to play? And were there any injuries? Because I felt like I was watching you perform stunts half of the time.
Do you know what? It sort of felt like stunts, and brilliantly so, because we had an intimacy coordinator, which is relatively new, I think, in the industry, and I can't believe there was ever a time where they weren't in place. But yeah, because of Lizzie Talbot, it was all incredibly safe, and like really, it became really fun actually. And Sabrina Bartlett is brilliant, who a lot of my creamy scenes are with, and we knew each other socially and from years before, so you know, we hit the ground running, and it was a brilliant opportunity to show like how there's different ways in which you can have sex, and you can tell the story in their relationship and their power dynamic, and how they're feeling in that one moment in the way that they do interact sexually. So yeah, it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Regé, people are going to fall in love with Daphne and Simon. You look beautiful together on camera. The sexual chemistry is electric. Are you prepared for the stan accounts and the attention that is going to come flooding your way when this arrives on Netflix?
Not in the slightest. Not when you put it like that. Ah.
No pressure.
I mean, I'm delighted that people are happy and that people are excited, and I hope they enjoy the show. In terms of being prepared for the reaction, it's cool that the books are already so loved. So like, we came into this job knowing that thousands of people are rooting for you, that thousands of people are waiting to fall in love with characters they already know, and to be delighted and shocked by the new things that you do. And so I'm looking forward to seeing people enjoying themselves in that way.
And does it add any pressure, Phoebe, the fact that so many people have read these books and they have a certain idea in their heads about this world and these characters, and you're coming in and putting your own spin on that? Is that intimidating, or is that exciting for you as a performer?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously that it does scare you because you want people to watch it and be what they envisioned in their heads, but ultimately you can't, that's not going to be what everyone envisioned. So you just hope that you brought the character to life in a way that's truthful and interesting and you know, a dynamic, fully thought out human being. So that was just, in the end, that was all I kept going back to. And I think it's only now that you worry about those things. When you're actually sort of doing it, it's kind of just like you're just head down, trying to just get the work done. But yeah, I guess now speaking to you, it's kind of that moment where you're like, oh gosh, everyone's actually going to see this. It's not just something we filmed.
There are some big parties and big society balls in this as well. There are so many characters milling about. Was it chaos on set trying to choreograph that and get everyone to hit their mark and be in the right place at the right time? How did that all work?
I mean, it was I mean, it would be my nightmare job to have to organize that. We had an incredible choreographer called Jack Murphy who did all of the beautiful dance sequences and everything. But you've got like a lot of people. You've got, you know, let's say you have 20 actors, then you've got 200 supporting artists, and you've got your dancers in the middle of that. And, you know, what looks so like gliding and effortless on screen is actually weeks and months of planning to get it all to look like that. But yeah, so much work went in and so much love, and I think you see that on screen when you watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously this is set in Regency, London, back in the 1800s, but we've got this gossip girl element to it, the mysterious Lady Whistledown. Who is she? Your character, Claudia, takes a particular interest in her. What do you think that adds to the story, that element?
Well, firstly, it's always good to have someone on side when you're an audience that is doing the job you want to be doing. So it's great to have like someone be like, well, don't worry, Eloise is going to try and find out who this is because you want to know as an audience member. So that's always useful to have someone doing it for you. But also I think in Eloise, like, she's obsessed with Lady Whistledown, but probably wants to be Lady Whistledown a little bit, you know, this career woman, you know, earning her own money, having all of this autonomy and being successful and like pocketing everyone's cash while outing everyone. It's like Eloise's idea of heaven. So I think it's a bit of a personal quest as well, to maybe meet someone that she could, you know, that could be her mentor. I feel like she always sees her in that way. Yes, it's dead fun for me as an actor to do all of that, to be the greatest detective.
You also rock some pretty impressive sideburns in Bridgerton as well. Were they your own or were they stuck on every day? And if so, did you take them home and frame them and put them up in your downstairs toilet? That's what I would have done.
Well, the easy answer is yeah, I did take them home every night because they were real deal. But they sort of went up and down, I noticed. We had a 2.5 week Christmas hiatus, and when I came back we then chiseled them back and they were about 1/2 inch higher than before. But yeah, no, the mutton chops, I would say about 99% of the character work. So yeah, once they were grown, Anthony was there to stay, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And does it help playing dress up, wearing things that you wouldn't wear in your day-to-day life to really inhabit those characters and be in that world?
Yeah, I mean, totally. I think the first day you step out and everyone's like, it's like a debutante ball, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're wearing that. And like people you didn't even know. I mean, the weird thing is the design was amazing, but Mark Pilcher, who did all the hair and makeup, it was like a 9-month shoot. You're working with all the cast and the crew for about 14 hours a day. And it was like there was the wrap party towards the end, and I turned up with my mutton chops on. Everyone's like, I can't believe you're wearing them to the party. And I was like, they're real. And I just think because everyone was so well dressed up, you didn't know what was real and what was fake. And there was a member of the crew who literally on the penultimate day went, so how do they get the hair pieces in? As if I was wearing a wig. And I was like, no, I've been living with this.
This has been my life for the past
this
however
is my
many
life. Yeah, my social circles. I sort of found myself in sort of like rockabilly. Different vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of male posturing and peacocking in Bridgerton, a lot of men behaving in hyper masculine dominant ways, but we also see quite a lot of male fragility as well, where they allow their emotions to come to the surface. How important do you think that is to see male characters displaying those types of emotions?
I think it's so important. I think what's brilliant, going back and seeing it all, and sort of toxic male masculinity through a 19th century lens, shows just how important it has been for men to learn how to be able to communicate and to be able to talk about their emotions, and about the fact that, you know, Anthony isn't ready. He hasn't got the toolkit emotionally. He doesn't know who he is, and yet he has been bestowed this huge responsibility. And it's something that I think we see in our modern day life. There's lots of men in positions of power who, you know, just like Anthony, are really children at heart, I think.
What I really loved about this, Regé, like David Copperfield, the fact that there are Black characters on screen, and not just as servants and stable boys, but as royalty and high status individuals. That's briefly touched upon during a conversation between Simon and Lady Danbury. What are your thoughts about how race is framed and approached in Bridgerton?
I think that it's a relief to be able to serve those 190 territories of people. This is an audience that is 21st century, that is wider than it's ever been. And I think that ignoring large swathes of that audience and how you cast your stories in who you tell stories about is not something that we're ready to do anymore. So I'm glad that we're serving everyone as they should be. We're representing more people than before.
Obviously, it was a difficult period for women, and that is explored in this, the limitations. But Anthony is an unhappy man. He can't live the life the way he wants to, for fear of bringing shame on his family, which I found very interesting, that we see it's not all rosy. Even as a man, there are restrictions on how you can live your life.
I know. I think we know that the patriarchal system has been grueling and horrific for women, but this is also a show that, you know, the patriarchal system fails men, and, you know, the idea of gender being such an important role, and being able to, you know, Simon's history of his father needing an heir, the idea of male lineage is just completely bonkers, and to be able to, you know, show that to a 2020 audience, and so people can identify why, you know, perhaps men aren't as, you know, well evolved as women, and all the female characters, including Hyacinth, would have been a better choice to head up that family. So it's been really, really good to be able to explore that and to show that, I think.
Yeah, and obviously your character is a man who's attracted to women, but in real life you're gay, and you've spoken very openly about that. As an actor, is it important for you to play a range of characters that are not just gay? And how do you feel about it being the other way around, with people who aren't gay playing characters that are?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question. I think it shouldn't matter at all what character people play. But of course, there is a narrative that's very clear that, you know, openly gay men aren't playing straight in leading roles, and also there's a reason why gay characters are so interesting, because much like the women in Bridgerton, there's a lot of hurdles, and there's a lot of self growth, and there's a real strength to gay men. So the fact that a lot of straight men have gone in to play iconic gay roles and to be lauded for that is fantastic, that story is being told. But wouldn't it be brilliant to see gay men play their own experience?
And I've seen all 10 episodes. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about any spoilers, but a lot happens. There are some big revelations. Nicola, how do you think viewers are going to feel at the end of season 1? What's their emotional state going to be like?
I think, being very vague about this, it's one of the most satisfying finale episodes of any series I've ever seen. So much happens, and it opens up questions and answers others, and I think people won't be disappointed by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if season 2 does get the green light, would you both be game for more, putting on those ball gowns again and throwing yourself?
100%. Yes, definitely.
100%.
There's a lot more story to tell.
Oh, with a heartbeat. I would. I mean, who knows? But I love Daphne, and I had the best time shooting season 1, genuinely. So yeah, I'd love to. I'd always go back. I'd drop anything. I'd be there.
Yeah, 4 seasons down the line and a couple of movie tie-ins, I think we'll all be happy.
Oh, please, holding out for that. And what are your standout memories from working on this? Is there anything that has really stuck with you and you've treasured?
I mean, every aspect of the show was so special. Just the whole experience was really special. We got to be in so many different locations. You know, we literally traveled England and filmed in every palace and castle imaginable. So getting to spend time in those amazing locations was really special and treasured moment. I really enjoyed our 2 weeks that we spent at Castle Howard. It was quite magical. And also the epic ball sequences, the dance sequences, they're really, you know, Regé and I rehearsed for so long to shoot those, and we worked so hard at them, and when we finally got to shoot them, there was so much joy in that. So I think, you know, I'm really proud of those sequences, and it was such a magical experience. Yeah.
I think, you know, being Eloise, like being able to play Eloise is like has been the greatest gift, and also my favorite character that I've ever played. Also, I think I'm proud of being something where every character is so thoroughly written. Like if you look at all of the mothers in this show, like mothers are such an overlooked thing in any series, you know, women of a certain age playing a mother, like it's just expected that they are this character and this character, or not really given this opportunity to shine. And all of the women in this show, they have such incredible storylines and are played beautifully. But yeah, I think I'm proud of that being like, no one's a plot device, solely a plot device, you know, do you know what I mean? Like everyone's so integral. Yeah, that's the pleasure for me.
Yeah, Nicola, what about you? What stood out for you about this particular experience?
There's so many things, but I think to pick out one, to be part of a show that's created by Jean Deland, first off, but then also to be working with Julie Andrews, it's something that you can't even dream of. It's hard for me to believe that it's even real. You know, someone that's such an icon in our lives that we've all known since we were little kids. When the series opens and you hear her voice coming out of the speakers, it like bowls you over. It's an overwhelming thing.